Hello my dear viewers, my dear student, welcome to my channel Science and Vigyan. Today I will give you the lecture on the topic expectorant and emetics. Before proceeding it, please do subscribe my channel and don't forget to like and share the video. And if you think the videos are very useful to you, please do share the same with your friends or colleagues. Okay. Before proceeding it, please do subscribe and don't forget to like and share. Okay. First of all, what is the definition of expectorant? These are the drugs that help in removing sputum from the respiratory tract. We know in the case of cough or congestion, there is a deposition of sputum in the respiratory tract, and expectorant they are designed to remove that formed sputum from the respiratory tract with the different mechanism of action, and this is the mechanism of action of expectorant. Either they help to increase the fluidity. How we can increase the fluidity? We can reduce the viscosity of the sputum, and the second one by increasing the volume of fluid that have to be expelled from the respiratory tract by coughing. Okay, now I think expectorants are clear to everyone. These are medicinal drug or the agent that help in removing sputum from the respiratory tract, either by increasing the fluidity or by increasing the volume of fluid. How we increase the fluidity? We can reduce the viscosity of the sputum. We know when the congestion or the cough happened, there is a clog of the sputum formed in the respiratory tract. Fine, we can reduce the viscosity with the help of expectorant, or we can increase the volume of fluid, and the same to be expelled from the respiratory tract by cough. Both the action and the mechanism of expectorant have been questioned and remain controversial, because in some books it is mentioned like it is a stimulant expectorant, and some it is a sedative expectorant, and their mechanism of action that is not clear. And sometime we found that they serve as placebo role, and they help the patient by the expressing the placebo effect only. Okay, do you have any idea what is the placebo role? Placebo mean when the drug as such they do not have any pharmacological effect or the pharmacological property, but when we give the same drug to the patient, mentally like psychologically he or she thought she has taken anything, and that prove positive result also. That is the placebo role. Okay, now we discuss the example of expectorant, that is ammonium chloride, then potassium iodide and sodium iodide. Okay, next is dose related side effect. Now what is the need of discussing the dose related side effect? Because we know when we give the expectorant to the patient, if the dose is increased, in that case there can be chances that patient can have vomiting effect, or they can they can have frequent vomiting. Fine, so we need to decide the dose according to their age or uh, their medical condition. Okay, if the patient is sensitive, in that case the dose of expectorant is high enough. This may induce vomiting, vomiting or emetic action. Do you have any idea what do you mean by emetic action? Emetic action is same as emesis. In that case, for example, if we have a congestion, we need to have normal saline. Why we take normal saline? We need to have emesis, artificial emesis, to remove the that deposit sputum from the respiratory tract. Fine. If we increase the dose of expectorant, in that case it can induce the vomiting. So it is advisable to give the doses of expectorant that could be tolerated by the patient. That is the reason how we need to regulate the dose, because we need to what we need to lower the effect of vomiting that is generated by the expectorant. So it is advisable to give the doses of expectorant that can be tolerated by the patient along with other pharmaceutical aids. Example is flavors, sweetener agent, cough suppressant. Pharmaceutical aids mean they pharmaceutical aid, these are the agent, they as such they do not have any kind of therapeutic action or the pharmacological action, they use as additive only, but they are helpful to regulate the dose of the expectorant, that is helpful to reduce the vomiting side effect. Okay, next is classification of expectorant. According to their mechanism of action, we can classify expectorant into two classes. One is a sedative, other is a stimulant. Okay, from the name itself clear, I think one thing is clear to everyone. Sedative and stimulant. Sedative mean that creates sedation. Have you ever noticed when you take cough syrup, you want to have nap or you want to sleep? That is the action of expectorant. When we take a sleep after a short nap, we thought that we are very energetic, because in that case the expectorant they express their action by inducing sedation. And second is the stimulant. Now in detail we discuss both classes. First is a stimulant expectorant. These are stomach irritant expectorant which are able to produce the effect through stimulation of gastric refluxes. We know when we take anything that is irritant to our gastric mucosa, we feel there is a stimulation of gastric refluxes. Fine. And the mechanism of sedative expectorant, that is the same. It produces irritation in the stomach and that are able to produce the effect through the stimulation of gastric refluxes. And when there is a continuous stimulation of gastric refluxes, that will induce sedation. Example is, we can classify sedative expectorant into two classes. One is a bitter drug, other is a compound. In the case of bitter drug, example is Epicac, then Cinig, then Indian Squill. If you want to learn in detail about these drugs, please do mention in the comment box, or you can contact me through Instagram as well as Facebook. Fine? Okay. And in the case of compound, it is antimony potassium tartrate, then ammonium chloride, then sodium citrate, potassium iodide, sodium potassium tartrate. There are n number of examples of sedative expectorant. Okay, next is stimulant type. And today we will discuss the classification and the example of expectorant. In the next class, I'll discuss the official compound in detail. How you can write down assay on any drug. We will discuss that. Okay. These are expectorant which bring about a stimulation of secretory cell of the respiratory tract directly or indirectly. The previous one is the that is sedative type. This is a stimulant type. And what is the difference between both? In the case of sedative type, they do the stimulation of gastric refluxes, but in the case of stimulant type, it brings about a stimulation of secretory that induce secretion cells of the respiratory tract directly or indirectly. Sorry. Since these drugs stimulate secretion, more fluid in respiratory tract and sputum is diluted. Example is eucalyptus, then lemon, then anise, and active constituent of oil like terpene hydrate and anethole. Next is emetic. I believe expectorant is clear to everyone. Yes, if you still have any kind of doubt, please do mention in the comment box, or you can contact me through Instagram as well as Facebook. Okay, next class of compound is emetic. These are drugs which give rise to forced regurgitation. What is regurgitation? That is emesis. Emesis, you know, emesis means when we induce vomiting by any other ways by which the content of stomach get expelled through oral cavity. These are very important in the case of poisoning. Mechanism of action: emetic act by either by local irritation of gastric mucosa, example is ammonium bicarbonate, Apica cunha, or directly on chemoreceptor trigger center, that is CTZ center zone. And this emetic are also known as centrally acting emetic. नहीं एक और बस मेरा पे these are certain type of these are the clinical facts of emetic. There are certain type of poisoning in which toxic substance themselves may be able to induce emetic by reflux action. Now you can consider its uses. Where we can use it? We can use emetic in the case of poisoning. You know which type of agent you are supposed to use in the case of poisoning, that are antidote. But emetic, they are very effective in the case of poisoning because they induce or they do regurgitation by reflux action. There are some type of poisoning in which poison may remain in stomach for some time before entering to intestine, where they may get absorbed. और फिर या अगर हम इसके यूजेस को कंसिडर करें, वी कैन कंसिडर इन दैट अ पॉइजनिंग ऑल्सो, जहाँ पे जो पॉइजन है वो एब्जॉर्ब नहीं हो रही स्टमक में, वो ऐसे पड़ी रह रही है बिफोर एंटरिंग टू द इंटेस्टाइन, कि इंटेस्टाइन में जाके तो एब्जॉर्ब होएगी, कि वो जो टाइम स्लैप होता है कि उस टाइम में हम एमेटिक्स और रिगर्गिटेशन करवा के विद द हेल्प ऑफ एमेटिक्स वी कैन लोअर द इफेक्ट ऑफ दैट पॉइजन. Before this occur, emetic are given to the patient for physically expelling the toxic substances and reduce the harmful effects and may be able to save patient's life. When a patient is in unconscious state, it may not be very useful. Gastric lavage may be required. You can say that it is a limitation of emetic, rest are the advantage of the emetics. It's all about the today's session. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Happy learning. And please stay tuned to my channel. Don't forget to like and share the video. And one thing more, this is all about the introduction of expectorant and emetic. In the next video, I would like to describe all the detailed example of expectorant and emetic in detail. Thank you so much. Happy learning. God bless you.